A clear signal of confidence and contentment. Your cat is sitting right there when you open the front door. That pose can't tell you one thing on its own. It's a clear signal of confidence and contentment. Watch the next 20 seconds on any normal day. You come home, their path after the door opens could go toward you. Of the fishing, toward the kitten, or toward you tamen. When you whatever you just brought inside, when you walk inside, so don't call their name. A treat bag. Just walk normally and watch where the cat goes. Without interfering, just watch. Evidencing of confidence and contentment. Their path tends to fall into one of 4 patterns. They follow you. They run ahead to a specific spot. He's through the conden. They stay near the door, or some mix of those. These aren't scientific categories. They're a household shorthand to sort what you see. Third, contentment, and because one arrival can't tell you much, you'll track this across 5 ordinary days on a simple ledger. Same 20-second window each time. Confidence and contentment. The first pattern is following. You walk in, and the cat walks with you. Confidence and contentment. You head to the kitchen. They head to the kitchen. You sit on the couch, settle somewhere nearby. Confidence and contentment. They aren't leading you to a particular spot. They're just staying close. They are opting for proximity in those first moments after you arrive. The second, contentment. The second pattern looks completely different. They trot ahead, straight to their food bowl, or to a scratching post. The third of confidence and contentment. But before you mark this in the ledger, check for 2 main interferences. First, was the cat overdue for a meal? Hila content to get litter, hunger be the kill. Story, setting cat. Second, did your own actions change their response? See confidence and contentment. If you walk in and immediately crouch down or start talking in a high voice, you've completely altered the variable. Confidence is not leading to contentment. For this observation to tell you anything, the walk-in has to be neutral, and they can't just be starving. And contentment, but if they run ahead even when food's already out, we'll come back to that. The third pattern, it's in contentment. You walk inside, but the cat stays at the entryway. Of confidence and contentment. They sniff your shoes, inspect whatever you set down, or just sit facing the hallway. It looks like they don't care. It's in contentment. But the door opening just changed the environment. New air, new smells on your shoes and coat. Contentment. Cats can hear frequencies nearly times higher than humans. That doorway is a busy spot for their senses. The sorger and confidence about and contentment. So feeling when they run to the food and then ignore you. A lot of owners think, I'm just a can opener. But a survey-based study on separation, related behaviors in cats pushes back on that reading. And contentment. When research asked owners what their cats do around departures and arrivals, the response didn't cluster into one single emotional pattern. They broke into at least 4 distinct behavioral dimensions. They are independent variables. And to contentment. What that tells us is the moment you walk through the door, your cat's response isn't just one simple measure of attachment. Con signal of confidence and contentment. Going to the food bowl might just be a sequence they perform when the house wakes back up. Is this why these are timid? I'm going to the scratchment might just be their preferred way to release tension. Confidences and contentment. I used to assume a cat who didn't run to me just wasn't attached. I've changed my mind. To the confidence and contentment. The research points to a picture more layered than one emotion and one path. So how do you figure out your cat's baseline? Contentment. You're on the 20-sec check across 5 ordinary arrivals. You need multiple days because single arrivals are easily skewed. The teen confidence and contentment. If you just stepped out for 5 minutes, the cat might not react at all because the disruption was too short to matter. Contentment. Keep a record of 5 normal work or errand days. A practical household rule 3 out of 5. Confidence and contentment. If the cat follows you into the living space 3 times out of 5, you've got to follow dominant pattern. Confidence and content. If they lead you to the kitchen 3 out of 5, you've got an ahead dominant pattern. Confidence and contentment. So if the results are all over the place, mark it as mixed. This isn't a clinical threshold. Confirmed. If it's a sorting clear tool, a way to stop guessing based on one arrival. What if the ledger shows a mixed result? Confidence and contentment. They followed you twice, stayed at the door twice, ran to the food bowl once. No clear majority. A mixed outcome is common. And it brings up an interesting point at the line cognition once, and so study filmed cats left alone for 30 minutes versus 4 hours. Hinting contentment and finding they purred and stretched more toward the owner after the longer absence. Their desire for contact scaled with time apart. Can lead to experiment. Another study on spatial awareness found that cats can mentally track where their owner just by hearing the owner's voice. It's the concealers of confidence and contentment. They hold a mental model of where you are. That means when you walk through the door, confidence and contentment. The cat's reaction is the culmination of all these factors: how long you were gone, what you sound like, what they smell. Fledger simply reflects a cat who is highly sensitive to the specific changing conditions of each arrival. It means their response isn't a fixed habit. It shifts based on the data they gather. So you've run the ledger and you've got a pattern or what? If your cat follows you, the simplest response is let them. The thing of confidence and contentment. Don't pick them up or redirect them. Just move through the house at your normal pace and let them settle when they're ready. If we're in the confidence and contentment, if your humidity is the point, if your cat runs ahead to a routine spot, go ahead and complete that routine. Put the food down. Constancy, your contentment. Like them, skeleton's not being used. You're part of a sequence that makes the household feel predictable again after a gap. Contentment, predictability is valuable to cats. If they stay at the door, give them the doorway. Don't drag them away from your shoes. Tina clinic of evidence and contentment. Don't pick them up and carry them to the couch. Let them finish with whatever the threshold is offering. You can greet them after. Attend. And if the pattern is mixed, just watch. Don't try to force consistency. This clear signal ting that this offensive hing again a pet foot that sitting in the container. That can't detach sitting of a tent where you walk in. It's easy to think you already know what it means. The is that it time contentment that, but now you've got a way actually check. This 20-second observation doesn't prove yet. It doesn't diagnose level. It doesn't measure attachment. Signal of confidence and contentment. It just gives you a clearer picture of how your cat processes your return and whether that picture changes day to day. Confidence and contentment. Next time you unlock the door, try the neutral walk-in. Don't reach down, just watch. Track the next stop for 5 days. Confidence and contentment. If you find a clear pattern or a completely unpredictable one, I'd like to hear about it in the comments.